What's going on, everyone? BouseFeenux here, and welcome to another For Honor video. So if you guys have been playing for a bit, by now you might have noticed a few things. Firstly, there's gear in this game that changes your appearance as well as your stats, and there's a bunch of it. If you've been playing for any time at all, you probably have a stockpile of the stuff and you don't really know what to do with it, or maybe you're having a hard time figuring out what's worth keeping and what's worth throwing away. Well, in today's video, we're gonna talk all about it, so let's jump in. First off, when starting a match, you might notice that next to your character level is a little colored box with a number in it. This is your gear score. Every piece of gear you equip has a gear score associated with it, and this is the total combined level of every piece of gear you have equipped. If you've ever played The Division, another Ubisoft title, you'll be familiar with this mechanic. Typically, the higher the gear score, the better the gear. The color of the box tells you what rarity the majority of your gear score comes from. Gray is common, blue is rare, and purple is epic. At the time of this video, 108 is currently the highest gear score attainable, which means that a total of 6 slots filled on your character with level 18 items. When you reach that score, your score box turns yellow. Right now, though, the highest rarity in the game is purple. There are rumors of yellow quality gear, but as far as I've seen, no one's actually gotten any. This will probably change in future updates, though. So how do I get this purple gear, you may be asking? Well, it's pretty easy, actually, if a bit time-consuming. To get purple gear, you'll need to reach at least Prestige 3 with a character, which means you'll have to get past level 20 3 times. Once you hit that level, you'll start getting purple gear randomly in matches, or you're guaranteed at least 1 or 2 pieces of purple gear when you buy packs from the scavenger. At Prestige 1, you'll start getting blue rarity pieces of gear. This is a super important tip to remember, and my big thing here is to not spend any of your steel until you reach at least Prestige 3. The gray gear at low levels is basically useless and doesn't really start getting any better until you reach Prestige 1 and start getting at least blue rarity gear. As a side note, the crates that you get from playing the campaign also work when you get to level 3 as well, so you can save those and open them up for better gear later. With that in mind, what stats should you look for? What does each stat do? Well, right now we have 18 different stats in the game, which sounds like a lot, but there's really only a few of them that people seem to actually look out for. That being said, they're pretty much all self-explanatory, with a few exceptions. One of those is debuff resistance. To my knowledge, this doesn't affect things like bleed. It pretty much only helps you if someone uses a stamina or attack debuff on you, which is rare, and it's because of that that most players, including myself, typically ignore this one. Block damage was another one that I was confused on at first, and it affects the damage an enemy takes when they block one of your attacks, not the other way around. That's block damage resistance, and typically, you want to try to get both of these in your build if you can. The last one I wanted to mention was throw distance, though. This affects how far you can toss a player after a guard break or push, and obviously, I mean, Conquerors and Lawbringers pretty much love this one. So, now that we've got those cleared up, out of the 18 stats, which ones are generally the most important? It kind of varies from character to character, but as you can see here in my build, I've gone for stamina regen, block damage, revenge mode duration, revenge mode attack, throw distance, revenge gain by defense, and attack damage. This means that I build revenge mode super quick by blocking attacks and deal a lot of damage for a good deal of time when I'm in revenge mode. Now, depending on the character you play, you might want to swap some of these stats around a bit. This is my build for Valkyrie, and I focus on parrying and disabling a ton. If you play a defensive character like Conqueror, Lawbringer, or Warlord, I'd go for the more defensive stats. If you guys want, I can try to put together some videos for each character that kind of go more into detail than this, but these tips should be enough to help you get started on the right path. A few stats that I think are worth avoiding are revive speed, because despite what you saw in this footage, if you choose this, you're relying on your opponents playing poorly, and you're almost always better off taking stamina regen over this. This is because most skilled players in elimination matches usually get the execution, and then that skill is useless. Feat cooldown reduction is kind of pointless to me as well, because while the feats are amazingly powerful, you shouldn't rely on them all the time, especially when you have to trade that stat for revenge gain by defense. At the end of the day, though, For Honor is a skill-based game through and through. You can have all of these stats at max and still be at a disadvantage if the opponent you're fighting is more skilled than you are. All these skills really serve to do is level the playing field a bit and allow you to play your character to its strength, so don't try to put too much stock on them or focus on them too much. But before we wrap this up, though, I want to mention a few things quickly. If you get a piece of gear you don't like the look of, but like the stats, you can swap its appearance between items of the same rarity. This is kind of like the transmog thing in Diablo 3. Also, you can see your stats overview in the customization screen to see everything you have equipped at a glance. My last tip is that items can be leveled up by using salvage and steal. This will increase their main stat, so don't forget to do this when you start getting max rank gear. My advice is just to break down everything you don't need because your inventory will fill up and you won't be able to take more items. Just make sure you don't waste the salvage and steal on subpar items. But I think that about covers everything, and if it doesn't, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. As always though, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. But until next time, I'm BouseFeenux, I'll see you at the next episode, and as always, thank you so much for watching.